One Pissed Call. Hey folks, welcome back to One Pissed Call, the political podcast where me and my friend Jessica just talk about whatever. So like once a week, she gives me a call and kind of updates me on what's going on in the world of politics, because I have a YouTube film channel, so I'm too busy with what's going on in the world of film to really keep up. So she just gave me a call. I'm gonna give her a call back, and she'll tell me what's going on, what's up lately. So give me one sec.
Oh,
yo,
Tyler, I called you Tyler instead of Logan.
How could you? I'm literally podcast over. No, I'm just kidding. It's fine.
Right, it just ends it.
Dude,
I thought the first thing I saw was Tyler instead of Logan.
That is absolutely, though, the cardinal sin is refer to me by my last name, but it's fine. I'll forgive you this time. It's okay.
Anyways, let's say Logan.
Yes.
It's gone nuclear.
Yeah. What has gone nuclear?
They said it wouldn't happen. They said it couldn't happen. But they found nuclear documents in what they took from Mar-a-Lago.
That is psychotic. Okay. So for those of you who are just catching up and don't know somehow, or you should just go back and listen to episode 3 of the podcast. But otherwise, if you don't want to do that and you're just like, I'm here right now, fatty, I want to listen to you talk right now. Let me just say that Trump's Mar-a-Lago property was raided by the FBI because he had documents that he shouldn't have had. And so it just came out that they were nuclear related.
Yeah, there were information about another country's military capabilities, including their nuclear capabilities. They haven't said what country or what nuclear, but they gave you as much as they can give you without full on declassifying the whole thing.
I thought Trump declassified all of it. I'm a little confused.
Well, yeah. Because when he touched it, instead of like turning to gold, it turned to like public record, according to him. But yeah, there are documents about a foreign nation's nuclear capabilities just sitting in a storage closet in a golf club in Florida for 18 months.
I'm shook. I don't even know what. Okay, so what?
That's just what they found, because there's also what they didn't find, which was the contents of the 34 empty top secret folders they also found.
So I love, like, what is this? What is an envelope that's top secret say? Does it just say like top secret, like literally stamped right on it, or?
It's very like cartoony almost, but I mean it's an honest way of doing it, because then no one can deny that they knew if it was top secret or not. But there was an image posted, I think I might have mentioned it last week, but it showed a bunch of like the cover pages of these folders, and it says top secret, and then it's got like different abbreviations for the levels of top secret.
It's in that thumbnail, I think I put it in the thumbnail.
Oh yeah.
But so
they found like 30 plus folders like that said top secret that were empty. So we know that there was at least a nuclear document. We don't have any clue what was in those other folders, though. And I think that's the scarier part, especially because it's gone. Like, who has it? Where is it? What was it?
Now, like, how, like, right now, as you're saying all that, I feel like if this was, let's say Obama did this, okay? Just the hypothetical. How do you think people would respond to Obama having done this?
Their heads would literally explode. Like, they wouldn't be able to do anything because they would literally explode.
Just giving secrets to the Hawaiian government. People are just absolutely stupid.
But they actually were trying to be like, Obama took information, but the documents that Obama was allowed to take was audio recordings of his biographer recording the interview or whatever. for his book. So it wasn't even a government document, but it did have to go through the same, like, find out if it can be declassified process, because it was a document that involved the president. So every document the president touches then goes through the process of, like, figuring out how classified it is, if it hasn't already. So, like, he did take home some stuff, but it was literally his own recordings, but they still tried to whine and cry about that anyways.
That's insane. Yeah, I mean, I remember when they thought we should impeach him because he wore a tan suit. So I just think that that's so insane, because I was listening to a commentator. I can't even remember who it is now, but they brought up an interesting point. And it was like, imagine how different everything would be if it was Mike Pence, even over Trump. Like, if it was anybody other than Trump, how would a reaction of this magnitude be? And that was before we found out that it was nuclear related, you know, like,
yeah,
that's before we
insane.
Yeah, I don't see how they can't prosecute him for this. Like,
yeah, at this point it's definitely like more and more people are basically just saying they're basically just doing the paperwork at this point to get to the point of indicting him. There was, what was it?
You remember last week I said they're going to probably prosecute him if it's bad enough, and here we are.
Yeah. Well, and that's a big thing, is even Trump had, like, posted on Truth Social about how people were worried about there being nuclear documents, but then everybody stopped talking about it because there weren't any. Like, before this was revealed, obviously, like, he had said, oh, everyone thought there would be nuclear stuff, but there's not. And there were pundits saying, you know, unless he's got nuclear documents, I don't see why they would need to do this. So even some of, like, the staunchest supporters who have been going on Fox News defending him were giving the caveat of, I mean, unless it's nuclear, and we just, you know, the red light turned on and started spinning and the siren started going off, it went nuclear.
Dude, that's so funny, because, like, I just think back to, like, Steven Crowder crying and everything, and it's just like, I wonder how many of these, like, legitimate, like, political grifters or even just people who are so, like, based in the party that they don't want to, like, discredit their most popular member of said party. I'm just curious to see how many of them will still defend this, even though they themselves made that caveat. I think everybody did. I heard that all over the place. You know, it's not like it's nuclear. Yeah, because they don't realize that this dude's a fucking joke. Like, I don't know how they haven't realized it yet. But yeah, now I'm starting to wonder. I'm not like a conspiracy kind of guy. I'm really not. I'm somebody who likes. Like, I'm somebody who's aware that conspiracies are real and some of them are true. Like, I mean, like, I'm not going to get into Epstein, but there's just some things that are just very definitive, right? But I like, how can you look at this and not feel like maybe there's a possibility of something nefarious, you know? Like, he's missing documents, and he also had documents about other countries' nuclear setup. Like, I'm not saying that it's a certain thing, but some people have to consider the fact that this could be potentially very fucked up.
Well, also, there is a woman named Monica Crowley who was a former White House national security, like, board member or whatever, or like, not board, I can't remember the word, but like a member of the national security team, right? She just recently registered as a foreign agent for Russia. So it's like,
oh God, the thing is, I'm so afraid, and not even like I'm not saying afraid of like what's going to happen or whatever. It's just, you know how the problem is that traditional media tried to do the whole Russiagate once before, you know, and there just wasn't anything concrete. And now that there's these things, all it's going to do for his supporters is sow doubt and reason for them to like push back against like stone cold facts. So it makes me wonder if like he knew that, you know what I mean? Like, I wonder if it's to a certain extent, like he played so hard for Russia early on because then he could just use plausible deniability. Like, I don't know. I'm purely speculating, but I just think that this situation is so fucked. Yeah, like, but it could be though. I mean, it genuinely could be. I mean,
and one of the things that they're like whining about, like the right is whining about, is like the other items that were taken out of Mar-a-Lago, like the fact that Trump's passport was taken. But then, who was it? It might have been Bill Barr himself that was on the news explaining it. But he was like, if you find documents in his desk and then you also have his passport in the desk with it, they're going to collect the passport as evidence that he is connected to those documents and papers. He had them in his possession if his passport was stored with them. So that's why they took a bunch of personal belongings, because it was like to verify that like he had been here, he had put things here, his important stuff was here. You don't not know where your passport is, especially as someone who's like rich and can fly anywhere and have to travel different countries all the time. You don't not know where your passport is. You know that your passport is in your desk with all of the classified documents.
He was in favor of interstate passports. He knows what a passport is. You know what I mean? He wanted to implement interstate passports to stop illegal immigrants from flying in the country. That's true. Because even though that's not a thing, because if you're an illegal immigrant, you still don't have an ID. So
yeah,
but that was one of his arguments back when he was trying. That was, you know, one of his build the wall. Also, where's this wall? It doesn't matter.
You know, we built the wall was trending on Twitter today, and it just made me laugh. And I'm like, where? What wall?
Where's that wall? Is it like between? Is it like the wall, as in like the 4 that will surround him in his jail cell that he'll hopefully have?
I hope so,
dude. I can't. I'm literally not somebody who, like, I don't give a fuck about locking up politicians, because just like most of them are criminals, and like you'd have to just like lock the offices that they work at, you know what I mean, in order to like
just lock
be fair.
The whole Capitol down.
Yeah, exactly. There'd be like 4 senators in like, they wouldn't even be the ones you'd think, but there'd be like 4 senators that would like be allowed to leave. You know what I mean? If we were really gonna lock people down for their crimes. But this is so different. Like, this is so much more. This is insane.
Because it's coming from like the highest level. This isn't like someone getting removed from a local state or even like a local federal office. This is the president. Although I will say we now, for the first time in 150 years, we removed someone from office using the Insurrection Act. The first time we've done it since the Civil War. There's a guy who was like the leader of like Cowboys for Trump or something along those lines. And he won a local office. And then he got removed for his involvement in January 6th. So we have one person who has actually been like charged and removed from office under the Insurrection Act. So we have current day precedent for that too.
Yeah, it really boils down to like, it asks a lot of questions of like, what is the purpose of this? You know, like, is it to a certain extent that they wanted such massive division on purpose? Like, you know, like, there's so much going on. Like, is this really a matter of him being stupid and keeping shit he shouldn't in like a very easy to access way? I don't know. Like, I don't want to like speculate wildly and, you know, fucking act all crazy and QAnon about it. But it just like, this is so blatantly like evil. You know what I mean? Like, he might as well be twirling a mustache and wearing a cape at this point.
Yeah, it's stereotypically evil. Like,
It's insane.
It's not creatively evil.
Like, you know that, you know, like Back to the Future 2, where like Biff is like the owner of like the universe and shit, and like he's like an insane, crazy billionaire. Like, that was supposed to be hyperbolic, over the top fiction.
Here we are.
Here we fucking are, dude. I just, I don't know even. Like let's say we were in the place of making decisions about what to do with this. It's like, I am of the opinion that he should be prosecuted, but I also am well aware that like the division in the country is like really intense right now. And that this is just going to be really like a very ugly situation.
Yeah, and there's like Paul Gosar, I believe, said something recently that sounded very violence incitey-ish. I'm no lawyer, allegedly, the whole 9 yards, but like there have been several sitting members of Congress who are saying things about a civil war and just vaguely violent things, and it's as much as I want to say fuck it, throw the guy in jail, it's like you do have to kind of put on some baby gloves and be careful with the situation so you don't like blow a fuse for half the country. But at the same time, like it does need to be taken seriously and dealt with and not like let slide.
Yeah, it's a tough thing because like, we know now that having like the way you used to dispel something like this in the past is like, let's say somebody in power did something truly disgusting and there was no way around it and like was terrifying and damaging. In the past, what would be done is just, it would be shown to the public overtly. Like it would just be explained in detail. And like the process, all of a sudden the least transparent company or a country in the world would become incredibly transparent, really more so just to calm the nation and show them like, listen, these are the circumstances, but that doesn't work anymore. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't work. Yeah. So I think that as excited as I am, as much as this is like another police call, I'm also like, it's such a bad situation and he did such bad. It's like, it's actually like really evil crimes, like really scary. I don't know. Like, I don't know where the right thing to do is. I definitely think that, it's going to be a very ugly period in politics. And I think like, if you are not voting right now, it could be devastating.
Yeah, and like I feel like the best way to handle people reacting to Trump facing the consequences of his own actions would genuinely need to be like a mental health program and resources to reach out to people, and it would have to be done very intelligently in a way where you're not going to make people who feel like they are losing feel even more attacked and defensive, in a way that would make them feel more comfortable, like a Republican or like a Trumpist support group where they can go and talk about their feelings and like genuinely have mental health professionals help them through the process of dealing with like breaking through that wall, that like cognitive wall that they've been standing behind the whole time.
Like I'm usually not one for censorship, but like this is another Andrew Tate case where I feel like it needs to just be a set standard that like if people come out and Trump is prosecuted, that he doesn't have an avenue to just talk to people and just lie to them. Like, I don't care, and like Truth Social or not, I don't give a fuck what it is. It cannot exist. Like, there needs to be some sort of legal calling to be like, you are on trial for something so incredibly heinous that you cannot communicate to the public. Like, you can have a lawyer do that.
Yeah, honestly,
but you cannot.
If he hadn't been president, he would have already been banned off of everything, and he wouldn't have made his own social network. And I mean, his social network is like struggling and failing to begin with, and it's basically been that way the whole time.
But it's still it's still like a swamp where they all like aggregate content together. And
I follow a bunch of Twitters that just like meme on the right, and there was one, and it was like just normal social media interactions, and it was it was like a science page that had made a True Social page, and they were just posting things about science, but obviously that's not going to go over well with like the QAnoners. So
that's awesome.
I mean, of course, there was like a picture of the Earth, like from the moon, and then like people getting all mad about it and stuff. But like some of it would be the most apolitical thing. It'd be something about like a monkey species or something just so apolitical. And then people were like responding either to something that clearly wasn't brought up. Like they just pull a topic out of their ass and start yelling as if they just commented on the wrong thread, or people, oh, what was it? There was somebody who was like, well, basically they were just like, who cares? Like, they basically want Truth Social to just be all of them complaining about politics together and no other content. Like, it's just insane social interactions. Like, that's not normal.
And like, you know, I hate the fact that people want to bury their head in the sand a little bit about all of this and be like, well, I don't want to talk politics about it. Like, I don't want to talk politics with anybody or anything. I just think that at this point we're letting them bully us into submission, right? Like, be so dramatic and over the top and offensive and threatening their guns.
That no one's. Yeah.
Yeah, like, you have to point out, like, you know, pure insanity. You have to be able to do that, I think. And Absolutely. Just that's what this podcast is. And like, if we got 13 comments from somebody that was so heinous that YouTube wouldn't even show me what it was. And shout out to you. I hope you're still watching. What up?
Thanks for the views.
Thanks for the views, dude. Thanks. And I'm sure you shared it with people. You know, and for people doxing me, like, that's cool too. What up? But I just think that it's gone to the point now where, like, I don't foresee a particularly great way to handle all of this. And like, I know that you said about like the public health service programs and stuff, and like,
oh yeah, but that would never actually be implemented. No, that's like living in a socialist fantasy.
Let's say we had a magic wand and we could do that. I just don't think it would even work, because people are so terrified of like people are so afraid of quote unquote socialism now, even though like they are totally abide by social programs and like bleed blue and all that bullshit. But like, they're so afraid of social programs, even though it pays the police. But that even the idea of receiving any kind of help from the government is like officially like a turn down moment right now. And I know that Trump would activate that too. Like, if we were going to do something nice for his constituents that also reinforced that we weren't going to let him get away with this, he would do everything in his power to convince them that this good thing for them is bad for them. I mean, that's how petty this motherfucker is.
You know, and I swear it's going to be a running theme in probably all of our episodes, where we just talk about how like being informed and voting are the most important things, because like that's the main things that get people to vote against their own interest, is being uneducated on how things work and getting their information from very biased sources.
Yeah, like, if you want to be socially conservative, you know, or whatever it may be, here's the thing. You like, there's so much in place in government that like let's say Bernie Sanders magically became president like tomorrow. None of the things that he ran on would likely happen in his presidency. Now, he would move things further to the left than they are right now, but we are so far right. Like, to be voting far right now is more of a cultural choice, because you're actively voting against yourself. I mean, even Dennis Prager, I was reading his quotes today because I was sending them to you on Facebook because they're hilarious. Yeah. And one of the things he said is that, you know, the right is the correct choice because their political views don't help them, and the left, like, their views only benefit them. And I'm just thinking, why would you vote against yourself?
Right.
Like, what kind of fucking bullshit is this?
He's literally looking down at them and be like, remember, you have to vote to put money in my pockets, because if you vote to put money in your pockets, you're a lazy fuck.
Yeah, it's insane. It's insane. I've never, like, you know, like, what do you mean put a tax on Wall Street speculation? That's insane. Bro, you don't own a single stock. Why do you care? Like, why do you care? Oh, it's insane. Like, you know, like, my dad plays the stock market, right? And like the idea of like putting a tax on Wall Street speculation, he's somebody who, like, I feel like that would affect more than most people. And he's not really like left or right. He kind of just is an issue by issue kind of guy. Mm-hmm. And he was like, well, if it would help pay for a lot of things, and I'm like, yeah, Dad, if they put a tax on Wall Street speculation, they could essentially give free college to people. And he was like, oh, they should do it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, and there's this girl I've been seeing a lot on like TikTok or whatever, and she moved from the US to Germany. So she's talking about all the differences in the countries and the culture shocks and stuff. And one of the things that she mentioned isn't just that her taxes go to more government programs, but they go to programs that actually help her life. Versus in the US, most of our taxes go to the military budget, and then a bunch of it pays off of billionaire taxes and like companies that didn't pay their taxes, and we give them bailouts and we give them all this stuff. And then somewhere down the line, a very small single-digit percentage of it actually comes back and directly affects you. Versus in other countries, they don't do that. They spend a lot more on the individual people in their country.
And it's so crazy that you can actually, when Bernie was running, I think it was H. John Benjamin that did a short video series on Bernie's channel where he talked about the implementation of like how Medicare for all would work and how it would be, oddly enough, people are like, oh, you'd have to pay so much more in taxes and it'd be worse healthcare. And it's like, he actually breaks down to you that the household, like pretty much every household, even in the richest parts of the country, even the richest people would actually save money yearly by doing this.
Yeah,
like
because the amount that your taxes go up, the amount that your taxes go up isn't anything close to what you're actually currently paying on a visit by visit basis to your doctor.
And then like everybody's argument to that is always like, well, if that's true, then where's all the money like blah 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 disappearing to, like who's not getting paid? And it's like the pharmaceutical companies. Yeah. Since when are we fucking writing for the insurance? Like Martin Shkreli is the worst being on earth. I'm so glad he's in prison. Like,
oh god.
Like these are the people you want to dick ride for? Like people that are actively just making money by being there. That's it. And telling you no.
I'm not 100% sure it was Martin Shkreli, but I believe I heard a story about how he lost like millions of dollars in cryptocurrency because he got hacked by a stupid ass little phishing scam that he was too stupid to realize was fake.
That's amazing.
It was him or some other asshole similar to him.
It's insane. Oh yeah, and like now that Did you hear about the chip deal that they're doing? Like the US is doing now about the new creation of like digital chips?
Yeah, I watched Philip DeFranco and he briefly touched on the topic today, but I wasn't 100%.
So essentially what it is, in my opinion, is sort of just like a bullshit moment. Like it's just kind of like acting like they give a fuck about it. Because it doesn't really affect like the creation of those chips are not out of China. Like it's really just to
yeah. He said it's more so out of like Taiwan and stuff. So it's like it's not actually going to have much of an effect on anything because we don't get those kinds of chips from China.
Yeah. So people believe that it's actually just to raise the tension between China and Taiwan. So, we'll see what's going on with all of that, but my bigger point being is like this isn't even the only like really terrifying thing going on.
Yeah.
And yet I am so much more afraid of what's going to happen with this than anything else we've talked about. Because just for the civil unrest, like I feel like this is going to be one of the worst cases of civil unrest. Maybe since it's going to be kind of like the George Floyd like riots, but instead of it being handled terribly by the police and people being brutalized, it's going to be the opposite. People are just going to brutalize other people. I really feel like if they don't handle this correctly, people are going to act dramatic and over the top, and I just don't know how to shut people down over that. But I also don't think you can ignore the fact that he stole nuclear information on other countries. Like it's not something that you can ignore.
Yeah. kind of a big deal.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe one of you guys in the comments has like an idea of what they should do. I would love to read how insane they might be. So please let us know. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's like I want to be hype that it's something so bad, but it's just kind of a fucking bummer because it's so bad. It's scary.
Yeah, in the words of a popular TikTok sound, funny. But not funny, haha. Funny, I'm gonna lose my fucking shit.
Yeah, funny like, oh no, oh geez.
Yeah,
yeah. I just
basically.
I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do about that. What has he said in response to that coming out? Has there been any like public things from Trump on Truth Social about it or?
Not that I had seen earlier when I was checking up on it. The thing that I saw most being talked about by the right was that some documents came out that said it was like part of how they got the warrant for the raid and stuff. And it said that it was the document, like the department or organization in the government that takes care of all of the classification of like presidential documents. It said that they were going to file the paperwork to get access to documents as requested by incumbent, which means as requested by Biden. And Biden had previously said that he didn't know anything about the raid. So people are taking that as he ordered the raid. But really the way it's worded sounds more like Biden needed some documents. We can't find the documents, so now we're going to take this step to see if we can like ascertain the documents from Trump. So that's what they've been going with.
Dude, they're so afraid of Dark Brandon, dude. They can't even handle him.
Dark Brandon rises.
Dark Brandon, dude. When he, you remember when he fell off his bike?
Yeah.
I feel like at that moment, you know, his life flashed before his eyes.
You know what it was? SpongeBob reference. It's like when Patrick falls off the cliff and suddenly he's smart again.
Yeah, that's
so. Fell on his bike and now he's Dark Brandon.
It's pretty much like we joke, but the Dark Brandon memes pretty much kicked in right after that. I mean, like I don't know, maybe it was like partially people wanting to like embrace the whole "Let's Go Brandon" thing, and it just happened to be around the same time.
Yeah, you know, it had been a little bit of like a meme, but then he started actually like doing good things, and it was pissing off the right. So then it became more and more of a thing every time the right got pissed about it.
And like Joe Biden's still an incredibly like underserving president. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like a Joe Biden stan. I'm not going to get like Joe Biden tattooed on my ass or anything. I'm just saying. Man, that Dark Brandon meme is like they really like turned around the Brandon meme on everybody because I'm seeing genuine Facebook posts of people not kidding talking about like Dark Brandon, like saying like he embraces this alter ego, he's empowered by his fans, and I'm just like, are you out of your fucking mind? Like I don't even think Joe Biden's ever looked at a smartphone, dude.
But see, that's the thing. I do hope that he there's someone around him showing him memes. I want to say, and maybe this is just wishful thinking and I'm just making this up, but I swear, because you know, when Obama and Biden were like leaving the White House, there were all those memes as if like Joe Biden was like leaving little sabotages and stuff around the White House for Trump.
Like Macaulay Culkin.
Swear at some point it was like confirmed somehow that he at least was aware of the Joe Biden memes because they were so good. Because they just framed him as like this petulant child that was, but like not petulant like Trump, but more like funny maniacal. You know, like knows the line between like you're just a dick and being funny. And he was just doing these little pranks, and then now he got the whole White House from Trump.
I saw a good Dark Brandon meme video. I know we're just like talking about dumbass shit right now, but it's because the truth is so scary. Honestly, like we want to talk more about it, but like there's so little known now, and it's like things are really creepy, so I don't want to speculate any further. But in regards to the Dark Brandon shit, I saw this really good meme, and it was from when Trump was campaigning. in like 2019, 2020, whatever it was. And he was talking about Joe Biden. And he's like, and yes, I just got an audio clip from this. Audio clip has never been realized, by the way. I don't think it's real. I think that Trump just made it up for this bit. And it was Joe Biden saying that he wished he would have ran in 2016 because he would have whooped my butt. And then it's just a quick cut to like Dark Brandon smiling to like winning the 2020 election. And I just think that shit is so fucking funny. Like, he did whip your butt, dude.
Because it's like Trump opens his mouth so much that there's so many instances, and he's wrong so much that there's so many instances where if you just wait a little bit, you have just something blatantly proving him wrong, and you can clip those two together and just show them so nice and concisely.
Yeah, and it's like they did that like empirical research where like they this college, they weren't even doing it to like shit on Trump. It specifically, they were analyzing speeches given by current like living presidents or former presidents to try to see, like, it was actually for an empirical study on speech and like great public speakers and stuff. And usually a president like falls within a certain level, right? And it was like, Obama falls within like this like college grade, public speaker, or Jimmy Carter was like considered like a savant of speaking and shit. And then like Trump speaks at a 4th grade level.
Yeah.
So fucking
and even
good.
though it's like most presidents have been able to speak at a college level, but when they do like formal speeches and stuff to the whole country, they'll tone it down to make sure it's understandable by everyone. But like Trump couldn't even make whole sentences.
There hasn't been a high school speaking Republican president since Bush Sr., according to that study. How insane is that? Since Bush Sr.
I mean, the entire Republican Party has just like shifted into chaos.
No, you know what I think though? I feel like to a certain extent, it's kind of like, no offense to like the Republican constituents, but like, I'm just gonna say this. I think it reflects poorly on those who vote for them, because it's just like, that guy's speaking my language, and it's like that language is a 4th grader. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm being a hater ass bitch, but I just think that's really fucking weird.
Yeah, it's like there is some degree of like, just because someone is like you doesn't mean it's the best option. Yeah,
like, and there's tons of Republican candidates like, John Kasich, Ted Cruz, slimes of the earth, but like they speak at like a collegiate level, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like they graduated from something somewhere at some point in time.
Yeah, and they didn't just get like daddy to pay for it. Like they actually like went and did it, so I don't know. I think that'll be funny. I'm interested to see this election cycle. I'm very terrified of it. I wonder how DeSantis will rank from kindergarten to high school. I feel like maybe a little better than Trump, but not by much. I suppose we'll see. Who do you think, even with all this involved, I'm just curious, just like a what if conversation. Who do you think would be the candidate for the Republican primary if people had to vote on it today?
Today, probably Trump.
How scary is that?
I have seen that DeSantis in some polls has been right up next to him or slightly higher, depending. But yeah, I imagine it's going to be like a DeSantis or, God forbid, a Cruz.
Yeah, well, one thing we've seen like across the board, like in, I think it was like Nevada, but in a couple of other states, they have people running for offices in this current election coming up. And we've seen a lot of people, even whole GOP parties, embracing the Democratic candidate because the Republican primary candidate that got through is like a QAnoner, whatever it may be. So I don't know. Like I want to believe, and to a certain extent, like there's some empirical evidence to prove this, that there's plenty of people on the right that look at what Trump's done or what he's doing or just in general, like the influence he's had. And even though they voted for him in a primary election, they're just kind of coming around to like, you know what? I hate Democrats, but like this shit is actually insane. So I don't know. There's still some hope maybe.
Yeah. I wonder if what's going to happen is we'll get more sensible, like local representatives or like, I don't necessarily mean like state level, but like Congress people, like they'll be more sensible, but the party will still put up Trump or Cruz or DeSantis being like some of the three most, I don't want to say most extreme, because I feel like most extreme would be like Marjorie Taylor Greene, but I don't think they would actually put her in a presidential running position. One, because she's a woman, and they would hate that.
I don't know, two, man. It depends. I
mean, hey, that's a whole strategy for them to be like,
it's
we're going to put a
woman.
woman up.
Yeah.
Look at us being so progressive.
Do you not remember Ben Carson? Or what was the other one? The one who died at a Trump rally? Herman Cain.
Yeah, Herman Cain.
You know, like they're token black guys. Like, unfortunately, that's exactly what they are. And like, make no mistake, there's been leaked memos that have literally called them that. So like, let's not get offended here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. That could totally be a method. I just wonder if this aggressive pushing of the parties because of like people who are traditionally Republican voting Democrat, I wonder if that might switch up the parties in the sense like what I want is that one of the parties move further left, but I actually think this is doing the opposite. I think this is making Dems feel comfortable moving further right.
Yeah, especially with the whole, like, it's hard to talk about politics because they won't meet you in the middle. So then, like, people on the left start going further because they can't meet in the middle. But then you have Andrew Yang's Forward Party.
Oh, my God. That dude is such a fucking grifter. Jesus fuck.
No, it makes me so sad because at first there was, like, hope that he could actually, like, do something. Because, you know, he basically just ran on universal basic income.
Yeah, he ran on UBI.
Yeah, like solely on UBI. And then, but now the Forward Party, and they will not give a single stance on anything.
And it's just like, what does that mean then? What does that mean? What am I voting on you for? Like, what are you going to accomplish?
Yeah.
How do you feel about these issues?
But yeah, that's our option of a centrist party, is a party with absolutely no substance.
Or like Richard Ojeda, like, you know, he's like the least scary Dem Republican mix, you know, for people, but there's still tons of problems there. And like, I don't know, whatever it may be. Doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, guys, let us know what you think of all this information coming out down in the comments below. If you want to check out All Things Jessica, you can check out her TikTok, Mrs. _Spacetime, right? Or is it underscore Mrs. Spacetime? Which one is it?
At least Mrs. _Spacetime.
Yep. And if you guys want to check me out, you can check out my YouTube channel, Held Captive Media. You just search it up on YouTube. Or if you're listening to this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe. It's on youtube.com/Logan Tyler. You can also get it on audio form on Spotify or wherever you might be listening to it too. So, guys, thank you so much. Is there anything you wanted to add?
No, I think that's everything.
All I just want to say is like everything's going to be okay, guys. We'll figure it out. Just be vigilant.
One day at a time.
Yep. Be vigilant, be aware. You know, be nice to strangers right now. They seem to be very upset about random things. So, all right. Peace out, kids.
Bye-bye.